What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And Chris Abercon.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? So welcome to the podcast. So Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursday's Ask a CISSP. I just published one with Matthew Hale from We Gon' Learn Today. Really good website. It's one of the biggest Black historical websites. The games, interactions, and all the things he's built by himself are amazing. Definitely check that out. And I have another one coming up very soon. And then Friday's everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article comes from hhs.gov. So this is the Health and Human Services government website that this comes from. And the title of this one is HHS Office for Civil Rights imposes a $1.5 million civil money penalty against Warby Parker in HIPAA cybersecurity hacking investigation, right? So this was a cybersecurity attack that resulted in unauthorized access to the PHI of nearly 200,000 individuals, right? And so, Ryan, when you sent this out, I read it and I was like, because my last few pairs of reading goggles, were Warby Parker. I was like,
okay, so I'm not the only one. Yeah.
Me too.
I'm in there too.
Yeah, so when I saw it though, the dates didn't coincide for when I actually went. I'm a recent customer, you know what I mean. So my information may not have been broached this time, right? But give it time because they had multiple instances of it happening, right? So even with this with this article and their penalty that they have, which they're not fighting, by the way, right? So if you look at the notice of final determination, Warby Parker came back and said, we're not going to fight it, we're going to pay it, and we're going to do better, right? And that is the hope, that you are going to do better. But like I said, it was more than one time that this actually happened to them. There was a few different instances, right? So they had another one in 2020 and June of 2022, right? Same type of thing, right? Improperly guarding PHI, not anticipating what they needed to do after the fact. They just weren't prepared for these cyber attacks that were coming to them, whether or not it was one of those things where they just felt it couldn't happen to them, it wasn't going to happen to them or not, like they should have known better, right? Because everybody that can get got will get got, right? Just understand that, you know what I mean? But they've come out and they've said, look, we're not going to fight it, we're not going to go to court to try to go against his judgment, we're going to pay it. And the notice of final determination was issued, so that's when they have to pay, right? So even though the decision came down in December, they got the letter in December notifying them. It's come out in February now, so it's money that's going to be paid out. Now, what that actually does, $1.5 million for a big company like Warby Parker, like they got a big not a big, but they have a nice swanky store here that I went into when I walked in. I was like, oh man, I was like, do I belong in here? Like I'm used to
they have like a boutique, boutique type
the
vibe.
Prices are pretty good, right?
So I'm
like,
good. Very good prices.
Very good prices. And I think the first time I saw like clear glasses, right? The ones that they're like kind of clear and you can see through them and in all different types of colors. Warby Parker. I'm like, they're cool stuff. I like their glasses.
I have a pair. I have the tortoise shell. I got a pair of the clear ones. I got blue. I got three different pairs. Yeah, got to match the outfits. When I show up to work, I got to be stylish. But yeah, Chris, what's your thoughts on this, man?
So the big thing that hit out to me here was they mentioned an attack called credential stuffing. Right. So credential stuffing is the act of utilizing stolen credentials to try to gain access. So the hackers were essentially able to access Warby Parker's information systems utilizing stolen credentials from the dark web, right? But the thing about that is it's literally just they spray and pray, right? They don't know if these accounts even exist, right? So, but somehow some of these accounts matched up, right? So the big thing the big takeaway for me, like from at least that standpoint, was account management. And so, like whenever an employee leaves, an employee is terminated or transfers divisions, right? There always needs to be an account review process from an organization to ensure that the rights remain the same or are removed appropriately. Provide principles of least privilege and separation of duties and as needed, right? So people with military backgrounds are very good at this just because we're segmented. We're in a totally different network, right? So we're IP isolated. So it was easier for us in the military during our time there. But the frequency of audits we had to go through. If they saw dormant accounts, right, that were still active, this guy transferred, last year, hit, right?
Right.
we got yelled at, right? So it is part of that maturity, right? So I mean, Warby Parker is a startup, right? They started out in 2010. Right? I think some Wharton grads founded it, but again, not saying that's an excuse. But with a maturing organization that's rapidly gaining popularity, it's important to secure your information systems, right? And actually, at the end of the article, rather this post from HHS, they actually go through a whole list of, hey, these are OCR's recommendations for healthcare providers. They're like, identify where EPHI is located in the organization, how it flows, how it enters, how it leaves the organizational systems. Conduct a risk analysis and risk management, into the organization, and ensure audit controls are in place. It's pretty much the basic stuff that any consultant would tell you. I'm like, oh, this looks like something I would put on a PowerPoint. So
Right, exactly.
Like you read this, is like, oh, this is consultant talk. But like, yeah, it's all there for a reason, right? Encrypt appropriately in transit, data at rest, data in motion, data in use, etc. And then the big one: provide workforce members with a regular HIPAA training that is specific to the organization and to the workforce members' respective job duties. I think, like always, education is the key. It's not just going on a website, clicking a box saying, I watched this HIPAA training. It's HIPAA training and HIPAA security. It's a cultural thing, right?
So I'm curious if they just didn't take it serious because it was only having to deal with eyes, right? They're like, look, we're not running any labs. You're not giving us, all this other information that we consider.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody takes eyes seriously because that's why it's not part of healthcare in general.
Hey, look, hackers, they got my prescription. It's going to get worse. It's going to change next year anyway, so.
Right. It's just it always boggles my mind that your teeth and your eyes are luxury, right?
Yeah.
Teeth are luxury bones. Mm-hmm. You're like, no, they're not. Both of these things are tied to the health of the rest of my body, but no one ever treats it that way.
For sure.
At least not here in the States. I don't know about the rest of the world, right? With their free health care and yuck. Give me some of the universal health care, actually.
Yeah.
That's sarcasm, folks.
Yeah.
But Ryan, what are your thoughts, man?
We're military. We've all had that.
Yeah, I've had universal health care for over half my life. No, so I think you both hit the nail on the head. So yeah, when I saw Warby Parker, just like Shannon, I'm relatively new to the Warby Parker world, right? Like my daughter's been in it the longest because they are kind of like customer service wise, they're awesome. She's had a pair of glasses since high school that she just loves. And every time her prescription changes, we take them back to Warby Parker. And even though they don't sell that frame anymore, they ship it off to somewhere like the North Pole, for all I know. Elves work on them. And then they put the new lenses in, they fix the frames, they send it back to her. It's in our mailbox. It's pretty crazy. So when I saw this, I was like, oh man, because like the rest of us are starting to go there now as well to get our glasses because their customer service is so awesome. So it's kind of disheartening that on the IT and cybersecurity side, they were just not as mature as their front-facing client apparatus, right? Because like again, like the customer service is always awesome. They're always very fast. Their boutiques or what have you, because ours is not too far away from my home actually. In like the outdoor mall, they have a Warby Parker, so it's pretty cool. But I say all to say that same maturity should be on the cybersecurity side, because the way I see a credential stuffing attack is they're kind of a victim as well, right? So some third party was breached, and then they were able to take those credentials and then do the credential stuffing attack on this side. But I think where the victim card goes away is, where's your continuous monitoring? Why was your data not encrypted, like you said, in rest and in transit? What's going on with your techniques, tactics, and procedures, right? How are you not? Because it was 3 different violations they were cited for. So this was over a few years. So they just didn't mature as quickly as they should have. So I think that's why they took the $1.5 million hit. Like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. We weren't doing what we were supposed to be doing.
And one thing too, it could have been like if they've outsourced cybersecurity to an MSP or something, or maybe if they're transitioning from one MSP to another, it could have been that, right? It could be like a third party vendor risk management issue as well. I thought about that, but again, it's all speculative. But these are real world issues that can happen to any company.
Right. Right. And it's not like we joke about, the eyes not being as important of the PHI. But when you think about it, like what else could be compromised? Like, yeah, they only received a certain amount of data, but if their risk management plan wasn't that robust and all of your PII and PHI were in the same place or very close to each other, no separation, things of that nature. They could have got even more information from you. So from someone breaching this and getting your eye information, what if they had gotten your social and your address as well, right? Not open up credit cards in your name and things of that nature.
Or they got your benefits number for your insurance, right? And they could
True
go
statement right
go
there.
after them, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I know where that is now, so now I'm going after whoever.
Yeah, so there was several different second and third order effects that could happen from this breach. So I think it is justified, and so did Warby Parker apparently, because they're just like, yeah, you're right, especially for that amount of money. Because we talk about these really large companies and the millions of dollars, like, oh, that really means nothing. Warby Parker is pretty big, but I think a $1.5 million fine is still pretty hefty for an organization their size. So yeah, they just have to be better, and which I believe they will be, because after you have to explain to your stakeholders or your shareholders or whomever, like, where does $1.5 million go that should have been profit or operating capital or something like that. So things will change, because you're once you start to cut to the bottom line, you're mismanaging their funds, so they will come after you, right? So I hope the best for them, obviously, because I am a customer, so I want to continue to shop there. But obviously, if this continues to happen, then I have to go elsewhere. So definitely continue to check us out. We're on all the platforms, audio platforms that are pretty much out there. We're on YouTube as well. You can find us on Repton Tech. You can find us on Heroes Media Group. We're now on the radio, so 99.1 FM out of the Atlanta metro area, as well as Channel 10 in Fairfax, DC, public access. So we're expanding. So definitely continue to support us, check us out, and hopefully our reach will be even bigger in the very near future. Hit up all the websites that go by our name: The Other Side of the Firewall, The Other Side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much everywhere, but LinkedIn is where I'm most responsive. And where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Chris Abacon. Last name is spelled A Bacon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.